Hi guys, this is a very short video about core stability and how to engage your core for doing abdominal work or for doing any exercise really, because you want to have a nice strong core whatever you're doing. Now, core stability isn't about solidifying everything and locking everything in place, and that's what the words stability tend to suggest. I like to use the term core movement. So it suggests that you're using your core, but you are able to move with it. But in order to do that, you need to be able to engage a couple of muscles, which then stay engaged while you then can move through that area. So we're not locking this in place, we're not solidifying the pelvis in place by engaging this area of the core, but we are engaging these muscles so that we are then strong as we move around them. So, two muscles, we're going to use the transverse abdominis and the pelvic floor. So to engage the transverse abdominis, it's not about tensing that muscle, it's not about tensing the muscles that you would use to go to the toilet if you're constipated. That's not the muscle we're using. We are using a muscle that runs round in this direction, across the fibers run this way. I'm going to engage it by drawing your belly button back towards your spine. So imagine someone's tied a piece of string to the back of your belly button and they're pulling it through towards your spine. So you effectively, by engaging it, look a bit thinner. So, two ways to think of it. Someone's pulling on a piece of string from behind, or you are making yourself look a bit thinner for a photograph. And in doing so, as you pull in, you'll feel, if you pull in all the way, that your diaphragm has to lift because the whole of your innards in here are now squashed into a smaller space and they're pushing up into your chest cavity. So if you draw it in too far, you're going to lock your diaphragm so that it can't really move and you can't breathe. So we're just going to pull it in about 50% and hold it there. If you put your hands either side of your belly button, as you do that, you'll be able to feel two slight hollows developing here. And when you then give them a little bit of a poke, they should be reasonably solid, okay? And that will be because you have engaged these fibers that are moving across here, the transverse abdominis muscle. So 50% pulling back through that piece of string or drawing the belly button into the spine, trying to look thinner. The other thing is we need to engage the pelvic floor, which runs underneath between your pubic bone and your tailbone. And again, we're going to try and engage that whole length of muscle from underneath, as though you're trying to stop going to the toilet stuck in a traffic jam on the motorway. Drawing it up from underneath, but again, it's not about slamming it right to the top, because if you do, everything gets solid. We've solidified the bottom of the cylinder, we've solidified this bit, which means that the diaphragm's got nowhere to go. That solidifies as well. So we're just going to bring it up by about 50%. So imagine it's an elevator and you've taken it up to the middle floor rather than right to the top. So we've got transverse abdominis drawn up from underneath, we've got your belly button drawn in from in front, and then you should be able to be free to move and breathe with that engaged. And that's what you want to be engaging and keeping strong while you do anything else with regard to exercise. So if you're lifting weights in the gym, you should be engaging that core. If you're doing abdominal crunches, you should be engaging that core. If you're doing the plank, it's that's holding you in that lovely stable position. So it's really important that you get that sorted. So give it a go, see if it's different to what you have been doing in the past. And then when we go forward to do any abdominal work in our classes or in the challenges, then you will be getting it right and therefore get the most out of those exercises.